repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has eradicated a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He's sending officers, they're taking everything, going in their homes. Okay, this is the kind of things that the founders of this country said, you know what, we've had enough of this, we don't want any part of it, and we're willing to fight to take back, to create a world where we have rights and where we have freedom from your tyranny, because we don't want any part of your government. That's what they said back in this day. For protecting them by a mock trial, and see, he has combined with others to subject us to jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and acknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without consent, taxation without representation, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of jury, trial by jury. So, he was doing that. And remember, he said in the very beginning here that these judges in those days and their time, he has made judges dependent on his will alone. So basically, you had King George III, and then the judges all did what King George III said. So, and then they didn't have any representation for trade. They didn't have, their right to a jury trial, to be tried by a jury of their peers, was being denied. And then you got depriving in many cases of the benefits of the trial by jury. So they were denying the people that right, going into their homes, just taking people's stuff. I mean, it was not good. Okay, this is why the founders of this country fought in 1775 through 1778, and then again in the War of 1812 when the British came back, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Okay, this is. I mean, if that doesn't sound familiar, this is the Declaration of Independence. Written in 1776, July 4th, right? So we're talking about the Declaration of Independence, and this is why we celebrate Independence Day, is because of this freedom that we have here. This freedom right here in the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, from a tyrannical tyrant king who denied people the right to free trial, trial by jury. They were arresting him for no reason. It looks like here it says for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. So, they knew that they didn't do whatever the thing, and they were, rounding people up and arresting people and just, taking people and locking them up. No jury, no, the judge is bought and paid for it, and then you've got pretended offenses. This is in our founding documents. Pretended offenses. So they're pretending that you did something and you really didn't, and then they are tyrannizing the people. And they said, you know what, we don't want any part of it. So that's how the cookie crumbles, the ball bounces, the rock skips. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. So they accused them of waging war, the government of waging war against the people. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. Okay, so they're burning stuff down. All right, the government is. The government is in control of it. They're sending people out to burn down their cities, burn down their towns. And this is from 1776. Okay? He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy. I have to look that one up. Scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitions for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated positions have been answered only by repeated injury. So apparently they were going back and saying, hey, you guys are doing this, this, and this, and this. And then they respond by that, to that, by just, doing everything they're doing here that we talked about. They're going through and they're locking people up, pretending. The term that they used here was pretended offenses. Okay, so they just lock you up and say, you did this, They're pretended offenses. Not giving them a jury trial, all these things. This is tyranny. This is what they left. This is what they didn't want. So the founders of this country, they all had warrants out for their arrest. And that other page I have here, Pete Chambers, Lieutenant Colonel Pete Chambers posted this, and think about this: the folks that wrote this, the Declaration of Independence. Okay, the Declaration of Independence. See that? The Declaration of Independence. It's in cursive. That's what it says. Okay, the folks that wrote that wrote that and declared independence from a tyrannical government, a tyrannical king, and tyrannical judges, and tyrannical tax system, and tyrannical pretended charges, in their words. It says here, those people, by signing the Declaration of Independence, and here's all their signatures, right here. See all those signatures? There's 56? Yeah, there's 56 signatures on there, and the biggest one is the John Hancock. That's right there. That's why we say, let me have your John Hancock. People joke around and say they want their John Hancock. Well, that's why. But this is some facts that, Lieutenant Colonel Pete Chambers brought up here. By signing the Declaration of Independence, the 56 Americans pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. It was no idle pledge. 9 signers died of wounds during the Revolutionary War. 5 were captured or imprisoned. Wives and children were killed, jailed, mistreated, or left penniless. 12 signers' houses were burnt to the ground. 17 lost everything they owned. No signer defected. Their honor, like their nation, remained intact. And that goes to this other sentence here that we were reading here. Cutting off trade parts of the world. Here it is. The history of the present King of Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of absolute tyranny over the states. Let the facts be submitted. And one of those facts was burning down our cities and towns. Okay? Swarms of officers. Standing armies. Okay? Mock trials. Taxation without representation. Depriving the benefits of a jury trial. No jury trial. Basically rounding people up. It says here, the transporting beyond seas to be tried for pretended, in their words, offenses. This is the founders of our country, the country you live in, the country you're a citizen of. Okay? He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. And he has plundered our seas, that's what I was looking for, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. It's right there. This is in the Declaration of Independence. You know, the oath that you say when you become a cop, or you become a military, or you become a judge, a prosecutor, any elected office. You're going to raise your right hand. You're going to swear to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Okay, part of that is this Declaration of Independence that you are charged with defending and protecting enemies, foreign and domestic. So, let's see here. Ravaged and burn our towns. Right there it is. He has ravaged and burn our towns. Right there. Ravaged and burn our towns, man. That guy's an asshole, wouldn't you think? King George III. All right, let's see. Moving forward. Other acts, including independent states, may of right do, and for the support of the Declaration, we with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. That's God Almighty. Okay, that's God Almighty is mentioned all throughout the Declaration, the Bill of Rights. It's enshrined and engraved in all of our government buildings. And you have the separation of church and state, which just means that the federal government cannot dictate how you worship the God who you believe, right? So in this country, we've got all these Muslims that are invading our country. That nobody's allowed to come here the way they're coming. They have to go through a legal process. But they're coming here and they're working and they're mingling and they're going to the stores and nobody bothers them. They're going to their mosques. They're going to all these places. Nobody bothers them. You know, I'm an American. I believe that you ought to be able to worship the God of your choice in this country. Okay? Even if I disagree with it. And I disagree with pretty much every single religion. Every single one of them. But I believe that's your right, and I think you ought to have the freedom to do so. And the government should have zero say in that. And that is in the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. I'm going to pull this up. Here it is. Now we're getting into the Constitution. We got the Constitution of the United States, Article 1, and it goes all the way through in the Constitution. I'm talking about the Constitution now, not the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution. I'm just going to look and see how many articles there are. Okay, there's 7. Okay, so there's Article 1 through 7, and under each article there's sections. So like in Article 1, there's 6, 8, 10. Okay, there's Article 2. Article 1, section, and it goes to section 10. There's 10 sections in Article 1. Then you go to Article 2, and there's sections under that. And altogether, before the amendments, altogether in the Constitution, there's Article 7. It goes to Article 7 with the sections underneath, okay, each article. So when you go through here, and then you got all the amendments. It's what they call Bill of Rights. As most people know, you know, we got the First Amendment, freedom of speech, because King George III wanted to shut everybody up. He didn't want anybody to talk. Second Amendment, King George wanted to take away all the firearms from everybody. They were ordered to. The people that signed this were ordered to turn in their firearms. The people that were forming a new government, okay, our founding framers, fathers, framers, whatever you want to call them, you know, the John Hancocks, all those people, all 56 of them, they were all ordered to turn in their guns. And that's our Second Amendment. They said, no, we're not doing that, you know, because they knew once that happened, you know, they were pretty much going to be pushing up daisies. No soldier shall in time of peace, Amendment 3, Amendment 4, the right of be securing your possessions, papers upon probable cause. That word, probable cause. Okay, you have to go to a judge, this particular describing a place and things or persons to be seized, particular describing those possessions that you believe that they have in their possession. And then when you go into that warrant, you are to look for those specific things. So it's not just an umbrella warrant, you know. Amendment 5, that's your right to free travel. So like during the pandemic, they said everybody stay in your home. You're not allowed to go outside. You're not allowed to travel. Well, that's a violation of your Fifth Amendment right, okay? That's a violation of your Fifth Amendment right. You have the right to free travel, okay? By carriage, by boat, by car, by truck, without being stopped or harassed. Now, there's some amendments or some stipulations to that in commercial commerce, okay? Like, say, the trucking industry. You know, things are a little bit different there, but you know, back in those days, they didn't have cars. They had horse and buggy. So they had the right to free travel. They can go wherever they want. You can get in a horse and buggy and travel from here all the way to California if you want. Or you can travel from California all the way to the East Coast without anybody stopping you unless you're suspected, unless they have probable cause that you have committed a crime. They have no reason to stop you, none, zero. Okay. So this is law, okay? This is the law. Excessive bail. Okay, that's Amendment 8. Right? Excessive bail. Amendment 8 shall not be required. Okay? So, in that Trump case, you know, we're looking at excessive bail, I'd say. What was this? In the billions or something? I mean, it's more money than the freaking gross domestic product of the United States. Give me a break. So that's a violation. And there's some other questions that I've got here in this other document here. It's in this document here. So we're looking at all the legislative powers. Okay, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in Congress. Bam. Okay, but there's some stipulations on Congress according to the Constitution on who can be a congressman, how old they have to be, they're required to be, and how long that they can serve a term. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed here, no person shall be a representative who shall not have attained the age of 25 years old. So if you're 25 years of older and you've been a citizen of the United States for 7 years, okay, you can be a representative. Okay, that's in the law. This is the law. It's not even an inch thick. Okay, this is the law to the United States of America. The Senate. Okay, you're allowed to be a senator, chosen by the legislature for 6 years. It shall be vacated at the expiration of the 2nd year, expiration of the 4th year, expiration of the 6th year. 1/3 may be chosen every 2nd year. These are all the rules. House of Representatives shall choose their speaker and other officers and shall have the sole power of impeachment. So if you want to impeach somebody, you need to go to the House of Representatives. But there's some ages here. So I wonder if some of these congressmen and senators were even a citizen, you know, for 6 years or 8 years, whatever it says here. Like this says, no person shall be a senator who shall not have attained the age of 30 years old. So you got to be 30. The other representative was 25. This is the law, by the way. This is the Constitution. Plus nothing, minus nothing. A senator who shall have attained to the age of 30 years old. You cannot be a senator unless you're at least 30 years old. And been 9 years a citizen of the United States. And I think that the representative was 7 years. So you can be a representative if you're 25 years old or older, and you have to be here for 7 years as a citizen. A citizen for 7 years. That doesn't mean you come here illegally and you hang out here for 7 years and you work for cash and then you go, I've been here 7 years. That's not how it works. In order to be the president of the United States, you have to be a natural born citizen, according to the law, which this is the law. This is the Constitution of the United States. This is restrictions on the federal government so that you can live free. Okay, it's more of a law for them than it is for us. It protects us from all of these things listed here in the Declaration of Independence. Oops. Okay, all the things that we talked about earlier, that the original founders of this country were experiencing. The burning, the looting, the military, grabbing people up, taking them for no reason, excessive bail, you name it. So this is why you have opportunity here and you don't have opportunity in other countries. People want to come here mainly for the dollar and for the freedom, because they're held down with a boot on their neck worldwide. We're the last beacon of freedom in this country. And if we lose our freedom here, the whole entire world will go into darkness. So it's on Independence Day, why not learn a little bit about your country? Why not understand where you came from, where you're at, and where you're going? Why not do that? Senators and representatives shall receive compensation for their services to be ascertained by law. Now, if you're taking payouts from other countries, that's not ascertained by law, is it, buddy boy? Right. So, and paid out of the treasury. They shall be paid out of the treasury. That's in the law. This is the law. Okay? The senators and representatives shall receive compensation for their services, reasonable, to be ascertained by law and paid out of the treasury of the United States. Okay? So that doesn't mean that the corporation, you're going to work to get this bill passed so that this corporation over here can get all kinds of money, and then they wire a whole bunch of money into your bank account. That's not how it works. Your pay comes out of the treasury of the United States, period. End of discussion. You ever wonder why all these people up there in Washington, D.C., they're rich? How'd they get rich? From crookedness. That's how they got rich. Okay. There's a lot of good stuff in here. You guys ought to read it sometime. Man, this is exciting. The Senate shall have power to impeach, to try all impeachments when sitting for that purpose. They shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside. And no person shall be convicted without concurrence of 2/3 of members present. Okay? I highlighted, I highlighted that. No person shall be a senator, shall not attain the age of 30 years old, 9 years citizen. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate. So who's the President of the Senate? The Vice President of the United States. It says it right here in the law. This is the Constitution of the United States. But shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. So there's a stipulation on that. So, you just gotta, this is your roadmap. This is your roadmap right here. Every single congressman, every single senator, every single state representative, every single cop, every single sheriff deputy, every single elected sheriff, every single judge should have a general idea of what this document here says. And this document. the Declaration of Independence. This is why you're drinking beer today, right? You're drinking beer, out there grilling out, right? Well, this is what we're supposed to be celebrating here, and it only benefits you. It only benefits you to read it and understand it and have a decent understanding of it, and it benefits your entire family. Because you don't want your family rounded up. You don't want your family being picked on and stopped. And what was the word that they used? Let's go back here. Where's that word? Oh, here it is. It's over here. Pretended offenses. This is in the Declaration of Independence. Pretended offenses. Remember, we talked about the Declaration. So they're saying we're gonna declare independence from Great Britain because the King George III is violating our rights, and these are the bullet points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know how many there are. There's a bunch, but they say these are all the reasons, and one of those reasons is to pretended offenses. So we're right back where we started. Okay, remember, we need to find out who we are, where we come from, where we're at, and where we're headed. Well, where we're at right now is where we were back over here in 1775, right? Yes. That's it, man. I'm done. I don't know if this video will upload or not. I'm going to try to get it to upload. But there's a lot of good stuff in here. You know, this is a lot of information right here, and you should know it. Okay? You should know all this. Okay? The Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution. Especially if you're an elected official. Especially if you're serving in the public trust. You should know these things. You shouldn't have to have a truck driver try to motivate you to do this. You should be doing this on your own. Okay? If anybody should be, you should be. Have a great day.